Hey everyone. This video is on Venus. Venus just entered a few days ago the exact degree that it's going to return to when it completes its retrograde journey. So there's like, a 2-3 month journey of Venus going back and forth, spanning the same 15 or 16 degrees from late Libra to like 10 degrees Scorpio. It's a potent, transformative time, and it's not just a Venus retrograde cycle, it's a Venus retrograde squaring Uranus, squaring the nodes of the moon, squaring Mars, so it's very activated. I'm going to start by singing a song. Awaken voice, awaken choice, sing with heart, sing with melody, awaken voice, awaken choice, sing with heart, sing with melody, nai 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 nai, nai 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 nai, nai nai nai. Nai nai na na nai na na nai 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 na na nai. Awaken voice, awaken choice, sing with heart, sing with melody, awaken voice, awaken choice, sing with heart, sing with melody. There we go. Now I feel like 30 times more relaxed and in my body. The message of that song, which was given to me in a dream, awaken voice, awaken choice. So often we forget this quality of sovereignty that we are choosing, right? We can choose where we're directing our thoughts. We can choose what we move into, what we move out of. Yet we so often are caught up in the mind that's looking for the right way. And one of the big pieces with Venus in Libra is this notion of comparison. What are you doing? What do you value? And we can have an influx of ideas and values from other people, energetic fields that are not indigenous to our own soul, body, heart makeup. What we learn with Venus in Libra is everyone has a different path. There's a quality of relativity to the soul journey as it manifests in every single unique human expression. And finding our way, we get into relationships, we learn from so many people, we discover all these different ways of thinking and perceiving, but ultimately there's this beautiful discovery that happens in Libra of me, my flow, my balance, my journey. We also discover that relationship is a big part of that. But when we use relationship to determine who we're supposed to be, we miss the point. We miss the gift that relationship is intended to be. This theme is really up right now. Venus is in Libra, and it's moving to an exact square with Mars over this weekend. Mars in Capricorn. Mars in Capricorn right now is building momentum. It just started going direct. It's claiming our self-authority, self-trust. At the very end of Capricorn, before Aquarius, there's a lot of really trusting ourselves. And what is the work that we are called to do that is for ours, for us to take hold of, where we are meant to be a leader in our own lives. Sometimes we make agreements, we sign contracts, we create expectations in relationship where we say to our partner, I'm going to be this for you, you're going to be this for me, or we just expect it. And what this transit really says is, wherever those energies are in our life, find out what calls your heart. Look at your whole being, actually, your whole being, because Venus is embodiment. And so often we value the relationship piece, who we get to be, what we get to get in relationship, but we sacrifice the embodiment piece. And so we walk around half present. And I really can't stress enough how prevalent it is, and almost like how almost taboo it is to not do this, right? This being to walk around in relationship, get married, make these agreements, but to like not be fully there. It's to say, yeah, okay, you know, I'm not fully into that, but yeah, let's do that. No, I'm kind of sacrificing my dreams. I feel uncomfortable giving or being or doing this. Yeah, let's go, let's do it. That's basically what we do, and it's expected. I mean, I just can't emphasize this enough. We don't look at the world for a good model of how to do relationships. We don't look at that. So it's important to acknowledge that to a significant degree in our personal and in the collective, we're just learning how to do a relationship. And the first premise is no one's giving you yourself. That's kind of the paradox within the Venus archetype, because Venus corresponds to two things: self-value and self-worth. Like wherever Venus is in transit and in our chart, that's where we're connecting with our own value, our own worth, our own esteem, our own sensuality. Venus is the heart chakra, right? It's valuing and loving and feeling and appreciating our lives. And Venus is intimacy and relationship. It's where we're drawn through a sense of wanting more, needing more, wanting to connect with more of ourselves. We're drawn into the realm of relationship, exploring and discovering all kinds of ways of being with other. There are many beautiful facets to that in terms of like the biology and the immune system and the procreation and how we learn to adopt and harmonize with all these different ways. But on a soul, psychological, spiritual level, if you look at it from that perspective, what this says about our own connection to our own value, to our own worth, is it's neither something we're getting from just the outside, but nor is it a vacuum, right? We're not like separating ourselves from relationship and being like, I'm just gonna know myself. There's something about the harmonization of the inner and outer aspects of Venus, where relationship reflects all these different parts of ourselves, and we get to enjoy it and appreciate it and say thank you for it. And there are certain things that relationship can give to us. And there are certain people that are wired in their own path to really do the partnership thing. And at different times in their life, maybe not always. But the partnership experience can be so relevant and useful for us in the sense that we have someone walking their path, and that becomes like two children hanging out next to each other. And there's something about the container of two that's grounding and quieting. And you know, Jesus said, when two or more come together in my name, I will be there, something like that. There's like this gift of present and accessibility that relationship can give to us. And it's so healthy to acknowledge that. Like, oh, you know, relationship would be really helpful for me. And I'm very much in my own journey. I have Venus and Libra in the second house. It's with Pluto as well. But a big part of my own journey is sort of this very dynamic of integrating this important needs for self-reliance, self-esteem, grounding. But Libra, I'm very much drawn to intimacy and connection, and that makes me a counselor, and that's a part of the work that I do. But then there's also the sense of, I wish I can share this. And being with someone else would be so grounding. And I'll use my own chart example to exemplify this teaching here. If I say, I'm lonely, I need someone to fill this space, basically in that present moment, I'm putting off my power, I'm putting off my esteem, I'm putting off my own embodiment. But if I recognize, wow, a relationship feels really relevant for me. See the difference? it feels like this kind of partnership, right? Being with someone in this way, having this kind of person in my life, sharing in this kind of experience, that would be so grounding and helpful. And that's the healthy way of honoring our individual relationship needs, wherever our Venuses are. Because we come into a relationship and we get to honor and appreciate and say, thank you for all that you reflect and offer in my life. I'm so grateful for you. But you're not making me you're not giving me my wholeness. It's like the clothing that we wear, it makes us warm. It's great. But it doesn't define us. We don't go around saying, if I only had an extra pair of pants. No, we recognize, gee, if I had a pair of pants, that would be really helpful. So we get pants. And we're not even picky about it. We appreciate the pants that we can wear. But we don't have to wear it all the time. It doesn't have to define us. And, side note, clothing, material, possessions, that's also Venus, right? It's so easy for our values to become intertwined with, whether it's a person or a thing, it becomes a possession that defines us. So right now, to orient from a place of self-authority, self-autonomy, self-trust, and letting our relationship support us, not using our relationships to determine our own value, which means if we're finding we need to go a different way, and this is a big part of the path with Libra, sometimes our evolutionary path unfolds by asking for what we need. I can speak in my own life, and having worked with so many people, that the Libra archetype, oftentimes their evolutionary journey is specifically in the vulnerability of asking for what they need. And Capricorn comes in, their shame. Is it okay to want that? What if I'm too much? What if that's not appropriate? What if I'm judged for that? What if I'm rejected? And then also all these minds of, well, I've already asked so much and I've given this much. One of the big delusions of relationship is this idea of balance. The way the mind likes to create balance, right? It's almost like this scale, like, well, you've given me 10 pounds of goodness and I've only given you 2, so I'm not gonna ask until I've given you 8 more pounds of whatever quantity I'm putting in my mind of this quality of giving from the heart, which has no qualifications, and it's just what life does, right? Like, giving happens. Give, right? Just do it if that's what you're called to do. If you're giving to get something back, be clear about that. That's fine, that's called condition. Create conditions, make agreements. But so much of our life, and we fail to recognize that, is just free giving and free receiving. And if this is happening in a relationship with someone, honor it. Sometimes we lack the full awareness of the karmic reality in all of our relations. So trust how each flow wants to be, right? Parents give, that's their role. Children receive, that's their role. So don't be afraid to ask. But the asking so often will open the doors to the next realization, to the next experience, to the next understanding. And likewise, don't be afraid to say no. The world can be showing up at your doorstep saying, here, please be this for me, can you give this to me? You get to find out, am I available for that? And there's something about the heart where there aren't these strong polarities. In the heart, there's unification. In the mind, there's always some kind of duality. But the heart, where in the mind there might be this feeling of like, okay, but if I give this to you, then I'll feel sacrificed here. It just creates these imaginings of one or the other. In the heart, there's just this sense of everything's invited, everything's included. There's space for all of it. And so it might be a no, but that no is a yes. Right? It might be no, I'm not available, but that no is a yes to harmony, yes to what's right, yes to, in my alignment, you're aligned. It's not looking at the, oh, but I'm going to disappoint you and then you're going to be angry at me. It doesn't go there. The heart just says yes, even if it's a no. So I invite that for us right now, to see what's presenting itself in our lives right now, and what's yes in the heart. Could be a no, could be a zillion different things. Also, right now we're kind of in this like, I can feel it right at my root as I begin to say it. It's like this like intense kind of energy. Very much like something stirring. There are some paths in life that require our choosing. It's not even being offered to us. It's not no one speaking to it. There aren't, any kind of like big green light saying, yes, go do this. The very nature of it is we have to believe in ourselves. And sometimes we become so conditioned by our roles and who we show up as in this world that the world won't even expect it of us, right? Maybe some people who know us really well might say, oh yeah, of course, let's go and do that. So there is an invitation right now to start feeling into this deeper place within us. What really makes our life worth living? What do we really want? And I just really offer this perspective. The places that feel unresolved, where there's a need for more, hold that in the heart. Not as a, I need this, but as a, oh, this would help me. There's this thing called the middle way. This is something that I'm discovering deeply and deeply and deeply on my own path. The middle way is this really interesting notion. I'm finding that the truth, the universe, everything's in the middle way. The middle way, in one way of describing it, is the path of the present moment, beyond the stories of opposition that exist in the mind. Basically, any stress or confusion or anxiety at the core always reflects where we are bound by opposites in our mind, right? Just the very nature of stress is this unresolved duality. And the middle way moves just beyond that vibration, and it basically affirms that right now there's a state of harmony and balance where everything is held together. An example of this is, I'll give from my own journey. I'm meditating in a very deep state of oneness, and then there's like a little like tendril of consciousness that realizes I'm cold. That there's a body that's cold, and the paradox that emerges at first is, I don't want to interrupt this beautiful oneness by making my body warm. And then I go into strategy. Well, maybe I can heat my body up with my breath. I don't want to move my body because it's like I'm so still, and if I move my body I would break this concentration, whatever. Maybe I can just use my mind and my breath to heat up. Or no, maybe I should just get comfortable, and karmically that's what I'm learning how to do, is get comfortable. But it becomes like one or the other. And this has been like a lifelong path for me, and this very example, so I'm giving it. And what I'm learning, what I keep on realizing at greater levels of depth and compassion, is there are clothing and there are blankets that I possess in my vicinity, and I can make my body warm and address like my kidneys and the parts of my body that get chilly. I can do that and then return to my alignment. It's like yes to both. Yes, let's get you warm, Ari Moshe. And yes, let's come into stillness. Both. Body and spirit together. And that being in balance with spirit and being in balance with my blankets, with my possessions. And one of the messages that I recently received is, let me find the right wording, use what you have. Use what you have. When we neglect what we have, it's like possessions or food, imagine, just sitting in your refrigerator that's stagnating. Venus, energy, resources, it wants to cycle, it wants to be used. So what you have, your possessions, your gifts, your skills, use them. Just use them. Your desires, use them. If there are desires for intimacy, for sexuality, integrate them, invite them. But everything just kind of gets to be, you're feeding some part of yourself. Feed it. And then let go. And if you have something that needs to be given, give it. Then let go. The paradox of the mind is where we begin to create these separations of like, no, I'm supposed to focus on, you know, my spirituality or my meditation or this particular path, or I need to make money, or I need to be alone for this, or whatever. And so then all these different parts of ourself are neglected, so there isn't harmony. But really, it's all of it. To me, that's one of the bigger healings that's happening right now as we're kind of moving out of patriarchy, where truly so much of our whole human self has been neglected. And so our own values, our own needs, and all these different facets of ourself are put to the side. Instead, being told to value maybe a path that worked for someone else, or a path that worked for someone else in some other lifetime or in some other moment. But to really acknowledge, oh yeah, on my path, this kind of food would really work for me. Give yourself that food. Then you can meditate, right? Then you can go deeper into your practice. But it's found that everything becomes like a container, right? It's like having a nice bookshelf and putting a candle on it, a beautiful candle. Your life can be like that. Like your deep communion with spirit gets to be held by your permission to embody and walk your individual path in life. So I offer that blessing that we can use what we have and use one another. Right? Accept the infinite, profoundly interesting variety of people that exist on this planet. Let them be used. Like, accept them into your heart. Accept how all of us can be relevant for one another on our own path in just the right way. And be in balance with it. Say thank you. I am nourished by this connection. This is helpful for me. One piece to close on, I think I'll close on this and then I'll talk about the Scorpio stuff in a separate video. And one piece to close on is we are inherently sovereign beings. So part of the spiritual journey is realizing that. Like, you know, the soul doesn't have a lover, the soul doesn't have a mother or a father or a child. The soul is like eternal and sovereign. We are that. Temporarily manifesting in these very conditional experiences where we have attraction, we have desire, we have a biology, we have parents, we might have children. These things, these elements are very real, but they're very temporary. It is, to me, a big mistake to call it an illusion and then to walk away from it thinking that these things are a distraction or things to evolve out of. But to be able to integrate them with respect to our sovereignty, that's the middle way. We acknowledge our desires and our needs, so we feed them, we consciously interact with them, not to take us away from the realization of our eternal self, but to support us so that our minds can be at rest. We can be at peace. That's living in balance. You know, a metaphor for that is you have a nose, use it to smell. You have a body, you have hands, use it. You have dead wood outside, use it for firewood. That's what this is about. None of it defines us, but use it, come into balance with it. I find that when we come into balance with our senses, with our physicality, with our relationships, wisdom emerges from there. the state of balance gives birth to insight and understanding. Because really, in balance, we're not bound by contradictions that are only existing in the mind. All right, so we'll close this video here. And what I want to say is, well, I guess we're not closing it here, but I'll just say this. Venus will move into Scorpio, it's gonna square Uranus, it's gonna square the nodes of the moon, like yowzers. And then, Mars is gonna enter Aquarius pretty soon. So we're emerging into a very powerful window of time for the next couple months. I think in the next video, I would like to talk a little more deeply about sexuality and sort of this whole transformative process of Venus and Scorpio squaring the nodes of the moon, and what I see emerging in the larger sense over the next couple months. It's very much like this is a time where we are called to embody our soul intelligence. We are really called upon to embody and trust and value what we came here for, and to navigate the realm of desire with permission, with confidence, with clarity. And during any kind of retrograde Venus period, there's a lot of shifts that will happen in our relationships. People come, people go. And so there's a powerful center, there's a powerful state of confidence and knowing that is accessible for us right now over the next couple months. I'll just leave it at that. We'll talk more about that. So much love and embodiment and permission to all of you, to all of us.